All right.
Hey guys, it's Sean, DG Gunpla. Welcome to GTS. So I've introduced myself, so I'm going to pass you on to Derek.
It's Derek here. SD Gunworks. How's it going, guys? Hope everyone's doing really good. Hey, and we got our awesome fun guest, and we can't believe we have him. And I love his artwork already. I hope you guys go enjoy it too. And we go learn hopefully some cool stuff from him. It's Terry. Hey.
Hey, how's it going? My name is Terry, and on Instagram I'm Gundamyatham, so you can definitely find me on there. Yeah.
Oh, I literally been saying it wrong this whole time. Gundamyatham. Yatham. Is that it?
Yeah. It's actually the uh, something that people don't really know. It's like a play on my last name, essentially.
Oh.
So like I have a
Okay.
very long last name and stuff like that. So but yeah.
Oh, so I've been
So that
butchering it this whole time. Well, guys, you guys already
it's
know
all
me.
good. No worries, no worries.
It's Master Grade Jess, and I've been butchering Terry's Instagram tag these past few days, or whenever I mention him to my team. But anyway, guys, we're really happy to see you here and be here with us this Friday on this GTS episode. Like Sean and Derek already said, it's a very special episode, like it always is. We have Terry on here, super accomplished artist, and we're gonna get to talk to him, and he's gonna be. I mean, you guys are in for a treat. I mean, honestly, you guys really are. It's going to be more structured show than it normally is. We're just letting you guys know. All right. So with that said, I want to remind everybody that we have our own Discord server. The link is in the description. And we also opened a Patreon on behalf of some viewers that were asking us to do it or saying that it would be a good idea to do it. So you guys can go visit that. We're also streaming on Twitch for the first time. We don't have the link up there, but if you guys do want to watch it on Twitch instead of YouTube, it is GTS base on Twitch. So we're streaming right there at the same time as we are. But with that said, we still have the GTS International Contest going on. Remember, guys, I'm pretty sure you guys can still sign up in these last hours of the day. So we still have, we have a good number of people already in it. But if you guys want to go in, send us a message if you guys want to register, and we'll be more than happy to do that.
Mm-hmm.
So enough of hearing my voice, enough of hearing about me. Let's move on to the next slide, man.
Yeah. So.
Sweet.
So, yay, let's take a look at this here. We got switched up. We got, hey Terry, this image, we used it as the main post on our Instagram and all the posts. You have to tell us what's going on here. It's all you.
Okay, so yeah, that's so my day job, if you will, is being a musician for Blue Man Group, and that was one of the one of the shows that I did in the States. And there's an instrument, I don't know if you can see it. There's like a tabletop looking instrument. It's called the electric zither, and it's basically like it's like an electric guitar, but or more like a lap steel guitar, but it has like 86 strings on it. So, so it's a little insane. But yeah, we hook it up to a bunch of pedals and stuff like that. And the cool part about the show is like we get painted up, in like this glow paint and stuff like that, and we're like these mysterious character, behind the screen and stuff. So
Man,
yeah,
that is wild. I've never seen anything like that. At first I say, what? We're getting this? We're getting Terry? Like, this guy on the show? What?
Yeah.
It's until
Not
I
gonna lie, I
actually...
was super confused too.
Yeah. When he was like, "Hey, dude, so I uploaded the picture that you asked me to upload." I go look at it. I'm like, So this is gonna be our promo. No, like, so you said Blue Man Group. Is the Blue Man Group only? Is there only one Blue Man Group, or are there various in different states?
there are a bunch of different shows in different cities. There are 8 of them in the U.S. and in Germany. We used to have a show in Toronto, but that got closed. And then there you go. Then we have 2 tours that were going out before the pandemic. So I was in one of them, and then there's another one that was touring the U.S. Last year I was touring Canada, so got to spend a couple time, some time like in a bunch of different cities and stuff like that. So got to be a proper Canadian and stuff like that. So
Very nice. The Blue Man Group is, I don't know if Sean or Derek have ever seen the Blue Man Group live, but
Not
it is
live.
so fun. It is so fun, man. I remember my parents took me and my sister to see it back when I was like, I think 12 in Chicago, because that's where I'm from. And it was just super fun. So when I realized that you were a musician I'm like, maybe I saw him when I was really young. But maybe I didn't. I don't know.
I didn't play in the Chicago show. I played in the Boston show, and we have like we have show in New York, Boston, Chicago, Vegas, Orlando, and Berlin, Germany.
Ooh,
so awesome!
Damn.
That is so awesome,
dude. That is so sick.
It's definitely a lot of fun.
It's everywhere, and it really is a cool show. Sadly, because of the pandemic, I don't know how things are on that side, but everybody should experience a Blue Man show at least once in their lifetime, like at least.
Yeah.
With that said, real quick though, I want to give a shout out to everybody who's watching us right now. We have Kev Models, we have my mom. Hi mom, I love you. We have Corey Johnson, the Shadow Hunter. We have Studio G. Oh, our boy Justin's on there.
Yeah.
Kasatria, Terry. Terry, is that you?
Yeah.
Yep, that's me.
That's
Okay,
Terry
cool.
right there.
Okay, I was like, we got Sean Harlan. I don't know who that weird guy is, but we got Jan. Anyway, we got a lot of people. We're really happy to see you guys. Anyway, so that's really cool, man. So what do you play in the Blue Man Group? Like, do you play that instrument that you were talking about earlier that I forgot to?
Yes, there are. So in the show we have 2 string players and 2 drummers. The string instruments that we use, one is the zither, which is the image that you saw, and then the one that you have up right now is called the Chapman stick, which is like this big long thing.
Oh,
it's a 10th instrument, and it's essentially we use it as a bass instrument in the show. The zither is essentially like a guitar, kind of doing melodic stuff in the show, and so we have 4 musicians in the show, and then we have 3 blue men that are also on stage and stuff as well. So.
Sick. That's really cool. It'd be awesome.
Oh, man.
Yeah, but we work with like some world-class drummers and stuff like that. Like whenever I play with them, it's just like, oh god, But I'm definitely not classically trained musician at all. Like I actually don't even know how to read music.
Oh,
and there are some really really accomplished musicians in the group, and it's been around for like 20 some odd years now, and we've seen some people kind of come and go and stuff like that. Some a few of the famous drummers that had gone through was Primus drummer. Do you know the band Primus?
I know of them. Yeah.
Yeah, the drummer played in the Vegas show, and then there's a guy that used to be on SNL that used to play drums in the Chicago show, so you might have seen him just play a show or so. But
yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
No, that's really cool, because now obviously this is GTS, so it's Gunpla Talk Show, but it's really awesome to see that your background isn't exactly just you came and you're like, oh hey, I started building models and this is what I did. You're actually a musician, whether you're classically trained or not. You're a musician at the end of it, and that's really awesome, right? As a musician myself, or ex-musician myself, it's really awesome to see somebody else who does that,
Yeah.
But then we get into another background, like, man, you're just a jack of all trades. This is another background over here. What is this?
Oh, for architecture. So I'm actually watching the stream on YouTube, so it's a little bit lag.
It's about a 12-second delay on the between. but
so I used to be an architect as well. So like while I was in Boston, I went to school for architecture, and was practicing as an architect. The image that I chose for that one is something that I kind of like to do, and something that I it's kind of like a preview of my kind of methodology, I guess, if you will. So that one is like a computer model, computer rendering, but I also like to add like a little bit of the hand drawing kind of feel to it as well. So a combination of like analog and digital and stuff like that, which is something that I really like to do. It's kind of like the drawing style that kind of carried over to something like this. It's like everything is hand drawn, but then like I kind of bring it into digital and make it a digital art and stuff like that. So
wow. It's one of those things that I always thought is like, how does it feel like to sort of move this, like, the original artist's drawing style into digital? Was it like, I always see a lot of people, like especially even my girlfriend, she's trying to draw and do everything. I say, so what's the transition like going into the digital process now for like that?
Yeah, well, a lot of people, I mean, they like with the app, like on the iPad, like Procreate, for example, that's a great way to get people started. So like, learning how to draw and all that stuff. It's digital. You can just like keep drawing or undo or keep adding a bunch of layers or adding a bunch of different files and stuff like that. So it's very, I would say, non-destructive way of learning how to draw and stuff like that. So that's definitely one of them. Now, I when I went to school, it was I started drawing out like hand drafting and stuff like that. So the hand drawing part for me is very important. It's how I connect my hand to the paper and all that stuff. And I also notice a cat behind you, Jess.
Yeah, that's my
Oh,
that's my daughter. She wants to sleep. She wants to sleep right now. She's cold. It's snowing over here, man. So she's trying to find any place that's warm. So she was on my legs, and so I'm sorry for interrupting, but she starts chasing her tail, but she likes to do that when she's laying on my lap. So since she's chasing her tail, she starts clawing. So I was like, I can't do this right now while I'm on the show. So I put her down, and she's like, all right, I'm gonna go to sleep over there. So sorry guys, but yeah, there she is, Luthien. Yeah. There she is. Anyway, so yeah, you were saying.
Yeah, well, my cat might make an appearance.
Oh,
Nice.
We'll see, because usually this is around the time when she's like asking for food and stuff like that. So
Oh my God, yes.
that's why.
Yeah.
Anyway, but yeah, that's kind of a short history, kind of background and stuff like that, how I draw.
It's really cool.
I'm just gonna say to the audience, just wait till you see what his architectural background does later on. Okay.
Oh my God, yeah. I'm telling you guys are in for a treat tonight.
Yeah.
This is awesome.
And then the next slide over, slide 7. You gotta explain how's your involvement in this?
I'm actually gonna pull up the
Oh.
the slideshow here.
Yeah. No.
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah. You should be able to see us on the slideshow, those little circles.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
No problem.
I'm learning this whole Google
No, it's all
connection
good.
technology thingy. And all that.
Don't worry. It's a whole different world right now to everyone. It's still changing so much.
No, but it's cool though. I love it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I guess the next one is about like my Gunpla background. I guess.
Yeah, I guess.
So when I was a kid, to me Gundam was not. I didn't know about Gundam as in like in the series and stuff like that. So Gundam for me is always like this manga. Plamo Kyoshiro. I guess that's how you say it. And that's like it's like the Built Fighters style manga, where like kids they would build like whatever plastic models they build, put them together and start battling each other and stuff like that. So there could be like a tank, there could be like like a Votom or something like that, an airplane or like a Gundam. We're fighting each other and stuff. It's so cool. So yeah, for me like Gundam is always like that. So when I start getting back into Gundam like as an adult, I was like, what is this? What's Gundam Unicorn? What I don't what are all these things? I don't understand. And then learning about how dark it is, like some series and stuff like that. I was like, oh god. Like, I don't remember it being that dark, but okay. But, no, it kind of got me interested in building, and for me as a kid, like getting my hands busy and wanting to build something kind of lead me into wanting to be an architect as well. So.
Man, do you know what? That's such a cool origin idea, like how you got into Gunpla. Because the fact is, not typically when we talk to a lot of guests, they say it's from the TV show, it's from the models or from the game. But then you're telling me it's from the manga. You know, that's original, and holy shoot! Like, to be honest, I did not even personally. I thought I was being a lot of lore guy. I did not know about this manga.
It's like super. I think it's only around in Japan and certain parts of Asia and stuff like that back in the 80s and stuff. So, but like I was telling my girlfriend about the manga, and she was like, Bill Fighters. I was like, no, it's like Bill Fighters style, but it's not Bill Fighters.
Yeah.
And she actually found the series, and I've been downloading a bunch of them and like, you know, rereading them again and stuff like that. Like, oh, this is what I remembered. So in the manga, you get like these crazy customized, you know, Gunpla, including, you know, like the Perfect Gundam is one of them.
Yeah, that's where it was coming from. That's why. Oh man, that is so cool.
And then there's like a wooden hyakushiki and stuff like that too. So like, you know, there's like the I don't know if you ever seen like a Zaku with like a skull painted on the face and stuff like that. That kind of came from that manga.
Oh, okay. So there's some filling some gaps there in some generation of Gunpla models. I was like, so where the heck did this thing come from?
Yeah.
So that's where they got the inspiration. Very nice.
I'm
That's
on
really
slide
cool.
8 and we're just looking at one of the images of basically it's like a Musha Gundam, but it has like a Zeta head. I was like, what the heck?
So in that particular episode, I guess, or chapter, he was fighting. So he had built like a custom Zeta style, you know, thing that's riding a horse and stuff like that, and then the horse got destroyed, like the head of the horse got destroyed and stuff, and then the pilot, you know, was like, okay, let's do a kit bash right now. So he put himself onto the horse. it's crazy stuff like that, yeah. And but it as a kid, I looked at that and I was like, oh my god, this is so cool. So like my, you know, to answer if preemptive question, like what is my favorite mobile suit, it would be the Zeta.
Ooh.
Because of that.
Oh, and actually that
Okay.
leads to our next one too, actually. Onto our slide 9. The Zeta Plus there. I love your insignia.
Yeah, my
It's
girlfriend
cute.
made that for me.
Oh, nice.
Aw.
It's cute.
So this one, the Zeta Plus, it was one of the first kit that I decided that I wanted to get serious, because like back then I was like, oh, let me just build something, and I was like, okay, cool, you know, like let me paint or let me snap here and there or whatever, and then like started getting to know like a bunch of people, a bunch of other works and stuff like that. I was like, okay, you know what, Zeta Plus, this is going to be the project I'm going to get serious and stuff like that. So I don't know if you know Josh Dara. He's an Australian Gunpla modeler. And if you don't know, it's all good. But
No. He's gonna be on the show. He's actually gonna be on in like I think 3 weeks or something like that.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Throw it in there.
Putting it out
Awesome.
there.
Yeah, I you know, as an aside, you know, I was talking with Josh a little bit and stuff like that. That dude is awesome. He's great. You're gonna have a really good show and stuff.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I'm sure he will. I mean, you're cool too, man. So
Yeah.
if he's anything like you, it's gonna be fun.
Yeah, it's totally fun. But the inspiration definitely came directly from his Zeta Plus. You know, so I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm just gonna really focus and honed in on making it really good and stuff like that. You know, it's a high grade scale versus his is like a 1/100. So I try as much as I can to put in the details, you know, and all that stuff that he had.
Well, that's what I'm looking
my
at.
question to you here. My question to you, Terry, here is why is the Zeta your favorite? Why is that one out of all the other ones? Like, why the Zeta?
Yeah, it kind of goes back into to the manga again, because like the main character in that story, he used I think half of the story, you know, chapter or whatever, he used like the Zeta as his mobile suit and stuff like that. And those are always the chapters that I like. So I'm like, oh, you know what, maybe that's why. And the Zeta Plus too, it's like, it's very reminds me a lot of the fighter jet and stuff like that. So there's like a real world connection within that. So that's why I'm kind of drawn to it as well.
Yeah. Okay, very nice. All right. So over here it says how I removed seam line without removing seam line. So teach us, please, because you kind of played with it, and I kind of see where you're going. Can you please explain?
Sure. Yeah. It's so the leg is like, you know, if anyone who had built it before, the high grade would know that there's like that nasty seam line like right in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
So I try to put it together, and it's the two sandwich didn't really quite line up all that well. So I decided, you know what, I'm just gonna only remove the seam line, just the top, you know, that top bit there, and then hide it with paint. So I hand brushed that color change there. Then I added another seam line to the side and stuff like that. So sometimes, you know, like, you know, you can certainly use the existing seam line to your advantage and stuff like that. So.
Dang. Did you have to rescribe that then, or like?
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was actually learning how to scribe with that kit. I was like, oh, you know what? I'm really gonna try and learn how to scribe and stuff like that. So that was my main goal. But like, that's awesome. With this build, I actually didn't paint the whole thing. I only painted like selected areas and stuff like that. And as you can see, like that lighter gray color, that's hand painted and stuff, because that's before I actually know how to airbrush and stuff.
What?
Wait, this is hand painted?
Yeah.
How did you get it? How did you get it to be such a smooth, thin finish?
So I used Mr. Color paint, and I thin it with leveling thinner. So like I would do like maybe a few drops onto a little dish, and then add a few drops of the leveling thinner, and then just like with a light coat, just kind of go, you know, and keep layering until like it looks smooth and stuff like that.
Huh.
Yeah.
Wow.
Dude.
That looks airbrushed. I thought that was airbrushed.
That's what I thought too. Hey, Sean, what do you think?
I mean, yeah, I thought it was either airbrush or rattle can, one of the two.
Yeah, I was actually doing this while I was traveling and stuff, so I couldn't like spray paint or have like I actually didn't even own like an airbrush at the time. So
wait,
and the gold or like the copper color back there, and that's Sharpie.
It's like the Gundam marker. Very nice.
Yeah. Oh, it's like a metal Sharpie that.
Oh really? Like an actual Sharpie.
Yeah. Hey, those actually go on surprisingly easy.
Oh, there's a tip. Oh man, and I'm the guy who actually decided to actually buy the, you know, I go for the Gundam markers at the very beginning and all. Yeah. But wait, you were traveling while you were doing this?
Yeah. So one of my hobbies while I travel is I would bring like a model kit or two, or if I travel to a city that just happened to have like a model shop or something like that, I might pick up a kit or two, and then I would build it and stuff, and
Wow.
Jack of all trades, man.
So I do have like a travel kit that I travel with, like some nippers, sandpaper, you know, the basic tools and stuff like that.
Holy shoot.
One thing, before we jump forward, one thing I want to talk about real quick is how you say this is the kit that you were using to learn how to scribe with. Those are some beautiful scribing for a first timer right there. I mean, they're very straight. They don't seem like you were crushing the plastic like a lot of people tend to do when they first start scribing. It's just, where did you?
No, well, I have to say that it's not my first kit that I scribed. There's another kit that I had before that I was learning scribing with, and at the time I didn't know that you need like a chisel So I'm like, okay, well, let me find something sharp and go at it and stuff like that, and it didn't come out all that well, but then I started reading into like, okay, there are some chisels that you can use. There's like this guide tape and all that stuff. So like this one would be, since I kind of am familiar with Josh's work, so I'm like, okay, you know what, I'm just gonna use that as a guide, and then I'm gonna try and learn how to see if I can do it really clean and stuff like that. So, but it's if you look closely, there are certain areas where I'm like, I should have done a little bit better and stuff like that. So,
I mean, just like everybody who's been, who's on the show, they're always super critical of their work, right? Oh, yeah. Taking a look at it immediately, it looks straight. I mean, obviously, if I were to zoom in, right, maybe I'll see a little bit of something. But the point is, you figure out a way to do the scribing, which a lot of people tend to be scared of all the time, especially finding something sharp, right? When I first began, I used the plotter, one of those plotter things, like on those big, I don't know, it was a point. It looked like a needle, right, on those little. That's what I used. It didn't work out so well up until Kevin, my boy Kevin's like, hey, want to borrow my BMC chisels? I'm like, whoa, all right, well, here we go, right? But you figured out how to do it, and it looks great, man. Very, very nice job. Very nice.
Yeah, he went from a Ford Pinto to a Ferrari.
Yep.
Yeah, I was in LA, and there was this store that was selling like a little chisel thing. So I'm like, oh, that's cool. Let me try that. See if that works and stuff. And I mean, like, the tool does matter, but it also is also about like how you do it as well. So which in later projects and stuff like that, we can talk more about that too. But another thing, go ahead.
I was gonna say, what you're saying is basically Dark Souls term, which is like get good, right? It's not the tool, just get good.
Well, another thing that I found to be very helpful is this.
Holy shoot!
Oh man,
dude. Okay,
it's like a magnifying, and stuff.
Yeah, do you know, it's the second time now we've seen it on the show, and it's like it must be a good thing. Like, I've seen a few people with those.
Cab models.
Well, one of our buddies, Paul.
Because when you take
oh man.
Oh yeah, when you take a photo of your kit, when you start zooming in, you're like, oh my god, I actually missed this, and this. So with this, it basically kind of helps eliminate that. You're already, zooming in very close and stuff. So.
Man. That's so interesting. They're not that expensive, I hope, those things, actually. I hope.
They're like...
No, this one was like $15 or $20 from Amazon or something like that.
So there we go. I need to pick some.
You guys go out there and get some goggles.
I'll go get some goggles.
Very nice.
Okay, so moving back, this, like, when I was looking through the slides yesterday, I thought this is awesome. Your Haro build. Well, yes.
So this one was like my first foray into entering a competition, and this was Zach's Saku Aurelius, his build off, Haro build off, like maybe 3 years ago or something like that. And so I was like, you know what, I'm gonna go for it. I'm gonna get an airbrush, learn how to do all that stuff, do some scratch building, do some hanger kind of stuff, like start learning how to do it. So essentially using that competition as a base for like learning how to do something. So like that truss and all that stuff, that's like scratch build, the little hanger thing, the scratch build, the cats that I have, like I just kind of cut it from a little figurine and stuff like that, and put it on there. Because like what I wanted to, what I imagined was like, okay, like these Haros, they're like at a size where a cat could probably fit in it, and I like to imagine like cats, like piloting a Haro. Exactly. Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. I'm looking at number 12 there. I'm saying, okay. So that's no wonder why the Haro is like, keeps on saying one thing or doing one. Oh
Yeah,
man.
it's basically like a scene where like these cats are building their own haro and stuff like that. So.
Well, I mean,
It's-
a cat would be too proud to just have a hamster ball. So, I mean, it makes sense that they'd have like a little round mech thing.
Yeah, exactly.
This is
Is this like
you were gonna say?
is this like like an actual just regular size Haro figure, or is this like the what's it, the figurized one, the big guy? Is this one?
No, this is the regular kit. You know,
What?
The, small,
The the golf
the
ball.
small.
The
Yeah,
golf ball.
that contest was those smaller versions. Yeah,
Oh, holy
I
shit!
think
as they were
Aomeka
coming out.
Yeah.
Yeah, the it's surprising. Well, not really, because you say, "Oh, this was my first attempt at a competition," right? And you go all out, dude. Scratch built hanger, scratch built arms. You have this whole idea of cats inside of a Haro ball. It's like, man, where does it stop, man? You're just going full throttle. And it's I mean, it's awesome. I mean, I love when we have guests like you, because you really push out that notion of just go for it, just do it.
Mm-hmm.
It's not, stop second guessing yourself, right? And it's, how did you come up with the idea of like the cats? Like, yes, the size, but is it because you like cats, obviously, or what's up?
Yes, it's because I'm a crazy cat lady.
Nothing's wrong with that.
No, but like I kind of view it this way. Like with competition, you have a deadline and you have a premise. So like there's like these constraints that are already built in, and that's kind of like, okay, then I want to take that as an opportunity to learn how to do something, because then like you're not spending 2 years on this project. It's like, okay, you really have to do this. You gotta force yourself to do it. So it's like, and the thing too is like, coming up with the idea, but also trying to figure out if there is a way that you can do it, that you can accomplish it. So having all that together and stuff like that is kind of like what helped push me to like, I was like, okay, I really need to accomplish this idea, because I really like cats and I want it to look cute and all that stuff. So I'm like, okay, I gotta push it. So.
Well, mission accomplished, man.
Oh heck yeah!
It's cute.
It's
so
super.
cute.
Oh man, it's amazing actually what you put together. Oh.
Well, it kind of gets me thinking of that one short from Love, Death, and Robots, where it ends with the cat going, "Yeah, we got posable thumbs and we destroyed the world."
Exactly.
Yes.
and like in Double O, Haro is like an onboard computer essentially. So like,
Yeah.
imagine if you have like a cat that's like, really want to take over the world and just like.
I mean, that would explain all of the problems with that purple Haro.
Exactly. Hey, there you go.
Evil cats.
Bandai, if you're listening, make it canon, man. Oh no, it's Sunrise. Sunrise, make it canon.
Sunrise, let's go make a cannon.
Very nice, dude. That's a great job for a first competition. But then we go on to slide number 14, and we get into your Zaku 1 prototype.
This is another test that I entered. So in Pittsburgh, there's like a yearly, Comic-Con type convention, and there's like a little Gunpla contest thing. And I was like, oh, you know what? I'm just gonna build something for that. So this one took me a while, like a couple months or so, and then kind of like with the nature of touring and stuff like that, schedule changed and stuff, and then I had to go on the road right before I had to submit this. So I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna bring this and then work on it while I'm on the road. So all this stuff was like done on the road.
Jeez.
And then like so then another schedule changed again. I couldn't make the convention. So like I was in Montreal at the time. Like we're building the new Blue Man show there, because we're part of Cirque du Soleil and stuff like that. So I kind of go to Montreal a few times and stuff. And I was there and I was like, you know what? Let me look around and see if there's any like local Gunpla competition thing that I can enter. And there just happened to be like one, like right riding downtown and stuff like that. So I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna finish it up. I'll go submit it during my lunch hour and stuff like that, and then come back. I went back to it's like a mini convention kind of thing where and this is also I want to mention too, like how cool the Canadian Gunpla community is, because like there are different chapters and stuff like that are very organized. That's how I heard about the Calgary, Gunpla community, because like they had conventions there and all that stuff. There's like the Montreal one. There's one in Ottawa and all that stuff. So it's like it's very organized and very cool and stuff. So like, oh man, that's great. But anyway, transition back. This one was hosted by the Montreal chapter, I guess, and then I fortunately was able to take first place in that competition and stuff. So that was great. And
in your lunch break.
During my lunch break.
I'm still mind-boggled how you could travel and do this much in between your breaks.
It's with some finagling and stuff like that, you can definitely do it. This one I definitely used spray can. So what I did was I actually painted all the pieces before I left home. So like I don't have to do painting on the road and stuff like that. I did a couple little weathering thing, like on the road, but everything else is just like doing decals, putting all together, building the base. And there's a funny story about the base. If you kind of go back to slide 14.
Let's go back. There you go.
So you can see like there's a wooden base, and then there's like the metal thing that's supporting the kit. Now, while I was traveling it, I had to carry it on, to the plane, because I didn't want to put it in the suitcase and get it all destroyed and stuff. So when they put it in the scanner, they were like, "What is this? This looks like a bomb shape kind of thing." And they kind of brought me aside. There's like 5 agents, like descending upon me, like
rubber gloves and.
Oh God!
You bend down, sir.
They were like, "Can you open that up, please?" And I was like, "Okay." Open it up, and it was like this robot. And they were like, "What is this?" And I was like, "It's a Zaku." Well, I mean, obviously it's a Zaku.
Oh yeah, because that attitude would go well.
It's a Zaku. It's a Zaku.
So they did like those
what's it?
Gunpowder residue test.
Oh really?
Yeah. Ran
Really?
it through the scanner a second time. And apparently what the agent told me was like, because of the shape, the shape of the base, and then there's like a metal piece that kind of goes into it. It definitely looks like a bomb and a detonator.
Oh.
So he suggested that if I were to travel that again next time, I would write on the box that I'm traveling with, like, please hand inspect something, and then there wouldn't be a problem.
Oh, okay.
This is not a bomb.
This is not a bomb.
He's a Zaku.
That's the first thing a terrorist would put on his bomb.
Yeah.
A Zaku.
He's a Zaku.
I love your nonchalant style of just, on my lunch break, found out there was this competition, decided to finish this guy up, take it first place. It's just another day for Terry, right?
I know. And then go back to my day job in between.
Well, here's the thing though. I wasn't really expecting to win. I was just like, okay, I just want to. I already built it and stuff like that. I already traveled and put all this effort. Might as well just kind of put it in somewhere. And
man.
But yeah, it was really cool. Like I get to meet like a bunch of people from the Canadian community and stuff like that. So it's a really, really great experience, So if
awesome.
Just shouting out there, like, since you guys have a competition that's going on, like, if you're considering, wanting to do a competition and stuff, definitely enter, because then what you get is like you get to meet people, and that's like the best part about entering a competition. So.
It is.
Yes.
It's the I think it's the criticism that you receive, whether you take it constructive or not. It's awesome. A little bit of criticism on your kit, actually, on slide 16 is That's some beautiful light weathering. It really is. I see a lot of people try to do weathering or even light weathering and get it wrong, but this looks believable. It's not over the top. It's very subtle. It's very nice. It's awesome, dude. I can see why you got first place, but then we're talking about skill and everything. We go on to slide number 17, and we got the dollar store build. I love that name, the dollar store build.
Oh, that event.
What's your excuse? What's your excuse?
Well, this is also like another quick competition. I think this was like a couple weeks ago that there was a Facebook group that I was a part of that they were hosting like a build something using dollar store material and the model kit. So basically, the constraint is you have like a cheap high grade kit, and then whatever materials that you want to use from a dollar store, it has to be from a dollar store. But it didn't limit the tools, or I kind of forgot the exact rule. It's just more like you can use a chisel if you want, for example. You can use like your fancy nippers or your fancy sanding, whatever. But everything that kind of goes on there has to be like either comes from the box or from the dollar store. So this one I actually I had an idea. I was like, do you really need a BMC chisel to scribe something? And I found like a knife like from the dollar store. I think it's like one of these, snap blade knife. And then all the scribing was actually with the knife.
The slide, man, the shade, man, just the shade, yeah. He's like, I heard you say BMC, but nah, dude. Look at me use dollar store.
Use a dollar store
knife,
Zacko knife. I'm going ham.
It's more like a test to see if I can actually do it, And if you zoom in really close, it's definitely really rough. But then like the paint, for example, is from a dollar store as well. It's like this Crayola paint, that I found as you mix it with the.
Well, I was just thinking that because I remember I think it was True Gunpla or Silver Stray a few years back. They had their dollar store contest, and oh my God, some of those entries they were a thing. It's like they drowned them in like the cheap watercolor acrylic garbage paints that you can get at the dollar store.
Yeah.
It was bad.
So.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say for the audience, I'm actually zooming in, extremely close. I'm like now it's pixelated, and I fail to see the rough edges and stuff that you say. These things look pretty damn straight, with it doesn't look bad at all. Like this is just with the knife. Like where's the downside of using a dollar store knife?
Yeah, there are. I mean, I would say this, like it's in, let's see here, slide number, if you can jump ahead to slide 21.
Ooh, okay, I'm there.
Okay, so like the trick to scribing something like that is to use like a scribing jig. So I basically use I use one of those tabs from the rail, and then I cut out like a little, essentially like a plastic guide, and then I highlighted a bunch of different areas where I used that guide and kind of repeated it and stuff like that. And that's a thing that kind of helped. And also, if you go at it very lightly, like just a little bit at a time, also helps. And it's also about like the direction of where you scribe. You want to scribe into the pattern rather than going out, so that way it minimizes the chance of like blowing out, like overshooting it and stuff.
Oh,
wow.
dude.
This is, told you guys were in for a treat. Real quick, I think somebody's on the chat that you may know, Terry. I think it's Adam from USA Gundam Store.
Oh, hey, how's it
What's
going?
up, everyone?
Hey, Adam.
Very nice. Hey, Adam, how are you?
Hey.
Nice.
Hazaki Art is there. Hey, Hazaki. Nicholas, our boy
Hey,
Nicholas
how's it going,
Tejada.
man?
Ooh, Nick. Hey,
He's in
bud.
there. We got, yeah. So it's really awesome just to see. Welcome to the show, Adam. Anyway, yeah, this is really awesome, man. This is, somebody said it right here. It's Hazaki also who said the fancy tools won't create a great builder if he or she isn't already one without them.
Oh man.
So It's true.
It's and that's really really true, because like it's about the method, you know. Sometimes the tool doesn't really matter as much, just how you do it. Now I have to disclaimer, it's definitely not the easiest experience. It's definitely like very awkward trying to do this with like a knife and stuff like that, but it is possible, and it is
I just flipped back to slide 18, just the before and after. Holy shoot, the differences. It's like,
oh, 19. You mean 19?
Oh, 19, sorry. 19. I was like, that's where, I was like, he slimmed. It looks like he slimmed down.
Yeah, I also extended the torso a little bit because it looked a little squat, but you know, extended the torso about 2 millimeter. Again, using all the using the tab from the runner and stuff like that, kind of sanded it down, and then use that as like a plastic sheet and stuff like that. So
I think it's not about being a great builder. I think it's more about being imaginative and resourcureful, which is really where we can start seeing your side of, like, you know, an architect, seeing the side of a musician, right? Working with what you have and making it do what you need it to do. That's the main thing, right? I know, you know, I've seen people who have all these fancy tools, like we were talking about. There's people who can buy them and they just buy and buy and buy. You know, I got this chisel, I bought this, but they can't really create a masterpiece out of it without really having that imagination to go along with it. So, I mean, that's me included, right? I mean, I have tools, I have this, but it really does take another level to bring it to life. And going to your art, which we haven't really touched on yet, you know, completely. I think that's, everybody can have a vision of what they want something to look like, right? Everybody. You grab a kit, you're like, I'm going to customize it, I'm going to make it into this. And it's in your mind, but you're like, how do I translate what's here onto this model? How do I translate what's here into this paper? And I think that's something that you definitely have. And it's definitely that ability that really gives you an edge when it comes to the hobby. So like I said, this is really cool, man. I'm really happy to see that there is somebody out there like you who can teach people how to do things like these, right? That's awesome.
Oh man.
Awesome. If you can go over to slide 20.
There already. Gotcha.
So those are the materials that I used. You know, see that little toy there, the stop sign. I really like, you know, the piston details and stuff like that. So I kind of cut a piece out of that, and then you know, again, the silver Sharpie for the silver.
Nice.
Oh man.
What is this? It says, are these knockoff Hot Wheels?
Yeah, essentially.
Yeah, pretty much.
Pretty much.
Lap leaders.
And there's also like this military car that I kind of hacked up and trying to make it into. If you go to slide 18, that's make it into like a crane or something like that.
That's where it came from. I was wondering
what I wanted to do was actually like a construction scene, but I ran out of time because like the deadline, the build time for this was like a week, and then I joined like 2 days after. I'm like, oh fuck, I gotta build this in 5 days. I'm like, okay, let's do this.
Holy shoot!
Wow.
You managed to actually came up with this entire idea within that time frame, within like a week. Like how many times do you have to stop back at the dollar store? Do you make one run or multiple?
Just one run, because so before I enter a competition, I always try to think like, okay, well, can I do it? What is my idea? Do I have a clear idea of what I want to do? And then I make a list of like things that I want to accomplish and stuff like that, and then go with it. But yeah, I also want to add to, like, you know, building Gunpla is definitely not a race. You definitely should take your time to do it. This is very like a very stressful, like, oh god, I gotta finish this, I gotta do this.
Gunpla is a triathlon, not a sprint.
Exactly.
Oh.
Definitely not recommended.
I'm so glad. Like, I'm gonna keep saying, you keep bringing up so many awesome points. I think that's one of the things that we definitely talked about in our group of friends with the competition over here that we talked about with Aomeka. You know, like, for example, I was supposed to enter a kit for that, I just didn't have time to finish it. My wife would say otherwise, but I didn't have time to finish it. And it's not about rushing it. Don't rush it, right? That's one of the things that everybody needs to understand is you don't need to rush it. Yeah, enter a competition if you can do it, great. If you can't, might as well wait and create a masterpiece out of it than just turn in some, some half-ass kind of thing, So it's really cool to see. Again, I believe personally that this is all from your roots as an artist, that you actually have patience and you're like, take your time to do this. Don't do it fast, right? Nothing. What is it? Rome wasn't built in 2 days or something like that?
Oh, yeah.
Rome wasn't built in a day. Jeez.
But it sure burnt down overnight.
Oh God, yes. Terrible.
I'm sorry to all our ancient Roman viewers.
Oh, they know what they did.
So, going on to slide 22, we can see the beautiful art that you have behind you, actually.
Ooh.
Oh, yeah.
More. Yes.
So this one here is a little print that I actually wanted to. This is for a charity. So if a while back, like maybe about 6 months ago or something like that, I was following this Gunpla builder, and he was like started to stream on YouTube and stuff like that. And then all of a sudden, he stopped. Apparently, he had like a medical condition and all that stuff that he had to go to the hospital for. So we're all like trying to figure out how to help him, because he couldn't work, and now he has to pay like hospital bills and stuff like that. His girlfriend is still going to work, but so a bunch of people in the community, mostly like around the Instagram community, kind of got together. It was like, okay, you know what, we'll let's make an effort. Let's do something, put something together, so we did like one round of fundraising. I think we got like €3,000 or something like that.
Ooh.
He's in Germany, so pretty good. And then recently, I think it was like a month ago or something like that, someone told me, I was like, well, he's still going in and out of the hospital and stuff like that. Still couldn't work, still all that stuff, and the poor guy, he's just like trying to get by and all that stuff, and he's starting to sell like his kits and his builds and all that stuff. I was like, you know what, I'm gonna do something, and I'm going to release something like a print, that I can contribute. So essentially, this is what I'm gonna announce today, which is like the this Woundward print. Basically, it's what half of the sale proceeds is gonna go to his recovery fund. And essentially what I'm trying to, my goal is to sell like 100 prints, so that hopefully I'll be able to raise like €2,500 for him over time and stuff like that. Now the print is going to be like $60, which will include shipping, and what you get is basically the print, of course, and then I'll send you a receipt of the donation in your name, and then like the €25. The €25 essentially is like $30 or something like that, and then the other $30 is the cost to ship and print and all that stuff. So I'm technically not making any profit out of it, definitely like eventually. And if you go to slide 24,
ooh, yes.
Slide 24.
Oh man.
So we have like this angel beefin type head. So to add the fun, add some fun to this is like basically 1 out of 3 order will randomly get this print.
Oh.
So whoever like, it's gonna be random, and it's gonna be like 1 out of 3 chance that you might be able to get this one. So.
Wow. That's, well, guys, you guys heard it. Well, he's gonna make the announcement, you said, so you know, I'm sure everything will be on your Instagram and on your post, so go check it out. It's all going for donation to help out this fellow builder. So go check him out if you are interested, obviously, in his art. I mean, it's beautiful.
Yes.
Definitely go and buy one and help out. Maybe you'll get this beautiful piece over here. We were wondering why this one was different, but now here's the story.
Yes.
So and just to add to that too, like previously I haven't really done this. I haven't made like any prints available to the public. It's mostly just like private commissions and stuff like that. So this will be the first time that I'm selling my print, to the general public and stuff. So if you want something, like a cool artwork and stuff, for sure. Let's see, did I add? Yes.
You have the individual headshots there, 25, 26, and
27 is like a little nice little addition.
I love that. I was showing that to Alina. I said, hey, take a look, because there's a nickname between I give to my girlfriend and myself, is like between she's Bunny, and for me Duck, so Ducky. So by all means. So oh man, that's so cute. I love it.
So I don't know if you guys know the story, the naming behind like the Advanced Zeta mobile suits and stuff. It's all based on this book, Watership Down, I believe, and then there's an animated series on Netflix and stuff like that. But they're a story about these bunnies that are. I actually haven't read the book or seen anything, so I have no idea. But it has to do with like these bunnies trying to survive and all that stuff.
Oh wow!
I remember there was a movie in the 80s that was super horrifying for Watership Down.
It is that one, right? It is that one.
Yeah,
I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah. So it's pretty dark from what I understand. So
yes. Oh man. But no.
Wow. So this is beautiful work. Like I said, guys, if you're watching and you're definitely interested in getting one of one of these prints, right? The one with the angelic V-fin. That's like, I think out of all 100 of them that he's making, there's going to only be 33 of them, and this is the first time he's putting out his work to sell publicly, right? So go over and get one. Be one of those lucky guys to get, or girls to get the cool. I mean, both of them are awesome, but the angelic one, especially with that rare, that rare stuff, that really cool stuff.
Yeah. So and
it's for a good cause.
Yeah, definitely. And I got the test prints in today. These are the test prints, and they look phenomenal. Like the printer had done a great job with it. So
nice.
Definitely love it. So
cool.
Awesome. The next slide, I believe, 28.
Ooh, Dynamis.
This is going to be the November sticker with USA Gundam Store. So this finally revealing it a little bit earlier and stuff like that than normal.
Nice.
So if those of you watching don't know about the sticker, essentially it's Adam that came to me with an idea. I was like, you know what, I want to include like these special stickers with every order, and it's going to be, the design's going to change every month. So we started out with an RX-78, and then went to the Sinanju, and what else? The Messer, there's a Goof, and all that stuff. And for the month of November, there's the Dynamis. And every month, at the beginning of every month, we basically do a poll of like, people can pick and decide like which one they want. And for November, people had picked the Dynamis. So
wow.
So this is
cool.
a quick preview of what it looks like. Which I'm sure there's like a bunch of 00 fans and stuff like that out there. So.
I remember. So quick thing. Well, two things real quick. Somebody on our chats, Han says he says. Oh wait, I think. Are you only
missing the October sticker? Yep.
Yeah, no, but he says, are you only making 100 of the other prints, or the goal is to sell at least 100?
The goal is to sell at least 100, because it's the shop is a very small shop to print. So, but if there are more interest, and people want to buy them after the 100 number is reached, then I'll certainly print more, and then it'll be more money for our friend as well. So,
awesome.
So it's all for good cause. for sure.
Awesome, of course.
Absolutely.
My other point was when I first started the show with Justin and with Chris and everything, I remember one of the comments was that we to praise our guest a lot, but I just don't see how I cannot praise our guest enough, especially when they put masterpieces like the Dynamis in this drawing. I mean, well, this graphic or whatever it is actually called, because I'm just terrible at this, but it's beautiful. It's gorgeous, man.
It's a sticker.
Well, the sticker, no, but still, it's awesome, man. Look at the details.
And I mean, yeah, I mean, like, I want to give Adam a quick shout out because he's it's been like, I call it a collaboration. Like, he technically, sometimes like people, they hire you to do something.
Yeah.
But with Adam, it's always a collaboration where we have a back and forth of, oh, what would be good, that kind of stuff, and like I convinced him that okay, it should be on a bigger size, because you can see more of the details and stuff like that, and it, even though it means like it's going to cost more to print these stickers, it also translates to a really nice wow factor when people open up the box and they get the sticker. It's like, oh well, and I love like seeing people posting online and stuff like that on Instagram of like them like getting the sticker and being excited and stuff like that. And this is what it's all about. It's like being able to share the joy and all that stuff too. But with Adam, it's like it's been such a great collaboration, and I love working with him, and certainly like he just to be open, like it really helped me a lot. Motorcycle.
That was Adam passing by his motorcycle real quick.
I'm sure he has a motorcycle. I'm thinking about it. But no, like during the pandemic and stuff like that, being a musician, like every show completely is down right now. Like no one's doing anything. The entertainment industry is completely decimated and stuff like that. And if it wasn't for this, this collaboration with Adam, like I probably would be working at a Walmart or something like that. So it's a very meaningful thing, and I'm glad that I'm able to provide him something that will help, his sales, help promote his store and all that stuff. And at the same time too, like he's helping me like with the everyday stuff. So it's been
That's
a great
awesome.
Great thing for sure.
Oh man,
that's really awesome. Well, Adam, you heard it here, man. It's awesome to have you on the chat, and obviously they speak very highly of you, and he even sent you a little face with little hearts on the chat. So I love working with you too, man. That's what he said. It's very awesome.
That's awesome.
There you go.
Yeah, and he's great too, because like a lot of times when people commission an artist to do the work, they don't really shout out the artist, like really help promote the artist and stuff. Like Adam just like kind of goes out of his way to like make sure that he mentions me and all that stuff, which is very, very appreciative. And then that means like there's more people that are noticing and wanting to get commissions done and stuff like that. So it's
of course,
it's been an amazing collaboration. But
that's so sick.
But yeah, so the slide that you're on right now is basically like the pencil sketch that I did. It's like a first layer. So I don't usually, when I draw on pen, like with pencil on paper and stuff like that. A lot of people draw on the iPad and stuff, and there's certainly nothing wrong with that. But for me, like it's always like I have to draw it on paper. So that's like the first sketch. And the next slide over, basically like when I start designing the details and things like that. So yeah, and like with this one, I wanted to push the boundary and see how much detail I can add to it.
you pushed it already.
Like, I actually have draw. What was that again?
You pushed through the layers already. I was gonna say, when you did the first original hand sketch, I said, "Holy shoot, that's already really detailed."
Yeah.
Yeah. So like from the pencil drawing, I moved to like a pen and ink on a watercolor paper, and then then I convert that into a vector drawing. So essentially, this is all vector. If those of you who don't know what vector and raster, the difference between the two, vector is meaning that it's like it's based on points. So like you can scale up or down the artwork without having it be pixelated. For raster or like through a regular image and stuff like that, if you scale up to a certain point, you get like these pixels and it'll be blurry and stuff like that. But with these stickers, since I want them to be nice and sharp, and it's also going to go on a t-shirt, I converted the analog line work into the vector art. So this is done in Illustrator. And then the next slide down, 32, is I start blocking out the color in Illustrator and just kind of like get an idea of like mapping out where the different colors are and all that stuff. And then 33, I start getting into like the shading. So I start like with one area at a time and stuff like that. And when we were talking yesterday, I was telling you guys about like what makes my artwork different. There are two things. One is I use hand drawings.
Okay.
And the line work, for me, like the line work is like the driving idea, or the driver for the artwork essentially. So like the line work has to be like nice and pops and all that stuff. And then the color is second. The color, I essentially use a lot of people, like when they do cell shading, they use like maybe 3 colors. So like the base color, the shade, and then the highlight. I use 6 colors. So like there's like tones in between, you know. So like the changes in shade and all that stuff. There's like a little bit more variation. And since this is a vector vector artwork, I try not to use too much gradient, because a lot of times people use gradient to kind of like blend everything together and stuff like that. But with this kind of cell shading style, you know, like I have to like kind of step the change in tone from one side to another and stuff. So like 6 or 7 different shades and stuff.
Nice.
And then number 35 is like after everything is, you know, shaded, highlight, and all that stuff. And then I add the border and the USA Gundam Store logo. 36 is like a little zoom in close up of like the detail and stuff.
Oh man, if I may,
yeah,
sorry. Oh, how big is this drawing? You said you start obviously with like pencil drawing. How big is this drawing in real life, like the original?
The drawing in real life is about I draw it on a A4 paper for Canadians, or 8.5 by 11 letter size for Americans.
Really?
Yep. So yeah, and the thing too, like if people out there who are looking into learning how to draw stuff like that, this is the hard part, is to figure out what size to draw it in. Because if you draw it too small, you can't add all the details. If you draw it too big, it's like, well, now I'm forced to add too many details and things like that. So finding that medium is always the tricky part. But I always start with the 8.5 by 11 and see where it goes from there. And then I kind of shrink it down, because like if I were to, you know, send this to Adam, he'll probably be like, oh god, I can't print an 8.5 by 11 sticker. You know, that would be crazy. But I shrink it down to, I think this one is about 6.5 inches long. So it's let's see.
Oh, okay.
So pretty.
Wow.
Still a hefty sticker.
That's a hefty piece still.
Yeah.
Again, it's just like, you know, the wow factor. You open up the box and it's just like, oh,
yes.
Get myself a sticker.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then the next one is kind of like the detail, the shading, and all that stuff. That goes into it. And if you notice, a lot of the detail that I like to put in are the pistons. You know, going back to that build. You know, so I'm like adding all these. I think with this one, usually I add about maybe 2 pistons per drawing. This one I have 4.
Yeah.
So if you can find it Oh no, actually 1, 2, 3, 4,
think there's 5.
That you can see. Yeah, 5 you can see.
Yeah.
Oh, 6 actually if you.
Six if you count the other side. Yeah. Like 7, 8, 9. There's just so many. Piston mania. This is
But
awesome work, man.
To go back to your point though, the which I think is coming up on the few slides, so I can talk about it later. But we can talk about the next one, number 38.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Hey.
38.
Ooh,
yeah, it's so some future stuff like on a website and things like that, so people can have a better way to contact me and stuff. Because like a lot of times I get direct mail in Instagram and gets lost sometimes. So I'm like,
Oh.
probably do a website and all that stuff.
That's me. That's my fault. That was the first message on Instagram. It's like,
Sorry.
no.
The dress up sticker is like something that I had an idea of where I want to create a sticker where you have one sticker that is like the frame, so like you can see the Sinanju with like mechanical frame and stuff like that, and then you put another sticker on top of like the armor and stuff, and the armor is going to be clear, so that way you can see the thing, the frame in between. So another fun part that I'm trying to figure out is like maybe there's an option where you can order it in half, one that is clear and one that is opaque, so that you can actually put it on top or something like that. However, but so this is still kind of working out the details and all that stuff.
Yeah,
that is fun. Actually, that's cool.
And like for the website, this is another thing that I get requested a lot is like, do you do like just line work so that people can actually add their color. Like for example, if you're working on your custom kit and you want to test out like a color scheme and stuff like that.
Ooh.
That's something we've talked about, is that there's not a great database for line art.
So that's going to be something I'm going to push through my website. Essentially, have like start building a database of like these high res line art of which was basically I'm going to go in and draw and all that stuff. But like that way people can grab that and then start playing around with color schemes and stuff.
Yeah.
So that's going to be coming soon.
Wow,
really cool.
That's going to be so cool.
Yeah, it's gonna help a lot of people out. But what I really want to hear, I mean, everything's cool, but how to draw a Gundam book? I mean, come on, man. What's up?
Yeah.
What's up here? Tell me.
So like as a I get questions all the time of like, how do you draw a Gundam and all that stuff, and I put out some tutorials here and there and stuff like that. But like, I figured, okay, maybe it might be nice to actually have like a nice book where people can actually follow along step by step on how to draw a Gundam, because the thing about the Gundam is that there are so many, like for example, there's so many
Core Gundam.
different shapes and stuff like that. Not only that they're different geometries, but if you're looking at this, there's one geometry that's pointing this way, there's another one that's pointing that way, so the perspective is always all over the place. So what I wanted to do is like kind of lay out a method of how I kind of figure out like these different perspectives and stuff and make it look like what it is. So that's going to be what the book is about, and certainly working on that as well. And the last item is the top secret hobby related.
Yeah.
So the this whole drawing thing like is a way for me to actually help fund my my idea, which is basically like a hobby organizer idea that I want to create. Like it's like basically a line of hobby organizer, and but it's something that you can take around, like a mobile, hobby type organizer and things like that. Since I travel a lot and being able to carry all my hobby stuff, be able to open it up and like work on a kit right there is something that appeals to me. So like right now with all the drawing stuff, basically kind of saving up the money so I can start that line of stuff. So.
Ooh. Cool.
Well,
Certainly
wait,
beats a
man.
pencil case.
oh shoot. Well, it's my little
just sounds
tub.
sick.
I have my little
Pencil
tub I take everywhere with me.
And like whenever the pandemic is over and stuff, I'm sure like the build days is gonna come back and stuff like that. So that'll be cool too. Is like to be able to like carry one thing. You know, like for example, if you're at home, you're working on your kit and it's like, oh, I would like to go to the hobby store to build with my friends. So pack it up with one thing and carry it.
That'd be so amazing.
That'd be awesome.
That would be nice.
Oh man.
I have to use a Pelican case now to carry my stuff around. That'd be awesome, dude.
I've
my
got
God,
one of
I don't
those collapsible grocery hardboard bags.
I got basically a collapsible plastic bin. So jeez.
Like, it's such a you don't realize, not a problem, but well, yeah, it is a problem until you actually mention it like you do. And you're like, yeah, I just use a regular plastic bag to carry my stuff around. Like, you know, it's like,
We transport our stuff so ghetto.
Yes. We shove it all underneath the table and say we're done. No one looks at it. We're all here.
speak for yourself. I have this. Like, this is what I carry my stuff.
Ooh, that's fancy. Look at that. That's pretty cool. Yeah,
No,
like,
but it is.
The other thing too, like behind the idea was like I live in a small apartment, so I don't have a lot of space. So, or like, you know, when I was traveling in a hotel room, for example, want to work on something, but I only have like this little table and stuff, and that's also the table where I used to eat my dinner. I used to, you know, so on and so forth. So like having something that you can open up, work on stuff, and then when it's time to eat dinner, you can pack it up and all that stuff. You know, it kind of helps with like people with small spaces and stuff too. You know,
That's really awesome. Han on our chat is saying, will the case be airport proof?
It will be. It's going to be airport proof.
This is not a
trust me,
bomb.
I've been through so many TSA screenings, like trying my best to like figure out the best way to go through the TSA as quickly as possible.
Yeah.
So I have many ideas, and it's gonna be TSA proof. Except you can't travel with a knife or sharp objects, so that's gonna be all on me.
Oh.
Hey, doing a proven point, you can get a X-Acto knife from a dollar store and you can do it too.
Not wrong.
That is true. Very nice.
I've lost so many knives. Hobby knife. Sometimes I pack it in my backpack, and then like go through the TSA and like, what's this? It's a knife. Oh, don't take my knife.
Oh no.
What is this? A BMC chisel? It's $60. Oh, I'm taking it. Like, man.
Fun fact. BMC chisels you can actually take through the TSA.
Oh.
Ooh.
It's not
all right.
the sharp part is not more than 4 inches, so you can definitely take it through. I've done it before.
Dude, I feel like Terry is now also a beacon of knowledge for TSA. Like, so when I travel, I'm just gonna message him, hey man, is it okay if I bring all this stuff?
Here's my
Send a
toolbox.
picture.
What can I take?
Exactly.
Travel advisor.
Very nice. So that seems like really awesome stuff coming in the near future. Going on to the next slide, we have draw to build to draw. So what is this?
So my entire the thing I wanted to take out, like when I start picking up drawing Gundam, is basically like to be able to help me understand, like if I want to build, like try to customize something like this, you know, for me drawing something helps me to visualize like all the details and stuff like that I want to put into it. So without putting a knife and all that stuff, start doing something and then like having to fix it later, I can lay it out on the paper, and then figure out all the details, and like having a better understanding of like the geometry. Like for example, like if I wish I have a better example in this, like for example, well, his leg needs to be longer, for example, you know, like okay, maybe I'll draw it out and see what that leg would look like, you know, without having to build it first. So like it helps me like visualizing the geometry. It helps me kind of figure out the process of how I want to stage different builds, and also to help me figure out the details. In the next slide,
I was wondering about this part because I was like flipping through the slides. I said, "What?"
so this is how I visualize like drawing and building. It's basically the same thing. It's just one is on paper and the other one is you're actually doing it physically. So like when you're I think this is like from the Scratch build manual or something like that when they were Scratch building a Zaku. You know, if you to build something, you kind of have to understand the form in its basic form. Like for example, a Zaku head. It's basically like
it's a dome,
a half round with a little thing that comes out and stuff like that. So,
A dome with a snoot.
exactly. Yeah.
like that.
And then like with the drawing and stuff, I set it up. You know, like I start with the cube. Always start with the cube. You know, figuring out. Oh, speaking of which, my cat is here.
No.
Ooh.
And next slide over.
Yeah. 41. Yeah.
So looking at the profile, like I was like trying to figure out like what is the profile of like the Zaku, for example, is like this round thing, and basically it's the same thing with if you were to Scratch build it. You know, like this guy, he was cutting out the section cut, essentially the profile of the Zaku head and all this stuff, and it's essentially the same way I would build the drawing. The next one over. From there, you start carving out. You know, you start putting all these geometries and all that stuff together, and then you know, being able to kind of. The reason why I draw a box is so you can be able to start visualizing it in perspective. Same thing with how you would Scratch build as well. You start carving it out to the rough shape. Actually. The next slide.
Yeah.
And then you start carving out a little bit more detail, like the eye visor and stuff like that, and like the little nose piece thing. You know, same thing with how you would build as well. You start carving out that stuff.
Jeez. Oh, holy shoot! That's a cat. That's a big cat.
That's a big cat.
So
Where's
the
my
next
daughter?
slide.
It's always a bad sign when you don't know where your cat is. Oh God.
Nope.
All right, sorry.
That's awesome. There's the cat footage.
The next slide is like, you know, then you start adding a little bit more detail. Like for example, there's a piping around the Zaku head. And all that stuff. Start roughing that out. Same thing with how you would build it. And then the last one is start adding the details and things like that, you know, to make it look, you know, for example, like the Zaku head has like a straight visor versus the goof has like, you know, this angry eyeball kind of thing. But that's kind of like how I visualize drawing something, and you know, the book essentially is going to go into something similar to that. Is like, you know, how to construct, you know, a drawing where you can draw complex shapes and geometry and perspective.
Dang. That I was like looking at that. That's so cool, actually. And then also Scratch building. What the heck?
I like how he glossed over it. Yeah, it's just Scratch build. I just do this on my free time.
I'm just building a whole high grade, you know, Zaku head, and I say what?
Well, just wait till you get the down into the slides.
You're getting
So let's go into the next one. Okay. A lot of questions that I get asked too is like, how do you make like your hobby into like how do you make money out of it? Now the first rule of it is like, don't make it a job, you know, because it's your hobby, you know, like it's something that you still want to enjoy. But if you are serious enough and you want to make money out of it, you kind of have to like understand that that there are going to be days when you don't want to do it, but you're going to have to force yourself to do it. You know, same thing with like, you know, being a musician as well. Like a lot of times people want to be a professional musician because they just want to have a full-time hobby and get paid for it. but a lot of times when you tour and stuff, you have to play every show, and if you're sick, you have to go out there and you have to play it. So you know, you have to kind of ask yourself, like, is this something that you love enough to be able to do it no matter what, you know? So first, don't turn it into like a 9-to-5 job kind of thing, but like, but still be able to be serious enough about it. You know? And second rule is like being disciplined about it. So like, you know, if someone is paying for your work, like let's say you're building Gunpla for commission and stuff, and like you quote someone for like, you know, oh, it's gonna take a month or something like that. You're gonna keep your word and like be disciplined. Like, oh, I gotta build, gotta do all that stuff. You know, make it on time. And certainly things would happen and things like that. And being upfront with your client, it's like, oh, it's gonna take longer. Usually it's fine and stuff like that.
Oh,
and then the third rule is to make sure that you do good with it. You know, like using it to do good deeds. Like, and if you go on to the next slide, this is what I did for Ben, the guy who I was trying to help doing fundraiser and stuff like that. And there are actually a lot of other people that were giving up their work, giving up their time to actually do the same. But this is kind of like what I did, and for me, it actually helped me to learn how to draw as well. Because like for 3 weeks straight, I did nothing but draw. So like the only thing that I did during that time period, I was like, I had 7 drawings that I wanted to do, and then I wanted to auction it off and stuff like that. So for 3 weeks, like I did nothing but draw, and then that in turn made me you know, better at what I do. It's the same thing too. Like, you know, if you go on to the next slide, this is I don't know if you follow her, Armida Text Martinez.
Yep.
Like she's a great builder and stuff. Like she does, like, you know, events like this where kids build along and all that stuff, and it's like a great way to share your hobby with other people, but also like starting networking with other people in the community and being able to plug yourself in. Like if you're really serious about the hobby and stuff like that, how do you share that with the world?
No.
And then
Exactly.
the next slide is like my local hobby shop.
Oh.
That I go to, and this guy, he's like, he just turned 90 years old like
What?
a couple weeks ago, but he ran this hobby shop where it's just like they only sell, like, you know, train military models and all that stuff, and recently he started carrying Gunpla and stuff like that.
Oh.
Because his distributor was like, well, you know what, you know, there's this thing called Gunpla, Gundam and stuff. It will help you sell, you know, help you make money and stuff like that. Now, since, you know, like I'm not really earning a lot of money, I couldn't buy all the models from his shop. So what I decided to do was to go into his shop and take photos of what he has, and then post it online, post it on Facebook and stuff like that, with like the local Facebook area. And if people wants to see something that they like, they go in and buy it and stuff like that. So again, for me to be able to help someone without actually, you know, you don't have to spend money to help someone.
Yeah.
You can certainly help a different way. And, you know, he's like, he has no idea how to use a computer. He has like the only way to order something from him is like you have to call him up and stuff like that. But I went in like last week and stuff and asked him like how he's doing and things like that, and he was like, oh, you know, sold so much stuff, and you know, it's been he hasn't had like he's been seeing like his sales double since last year, since this time last year and stuff like that. So doing something like that, being able to help out in the community and stuff too is helpful. And again, it's just like it's just a food for thought for people like who want to be serious about your hobby. Is like while you're doing that, also like trying to figure out your own way to how to do good, with other people as well.
Exactly. But dude, that's so cool that you're actually able to try to help out in another way other than just buying kits. I actually love that because I'm a huge fan to support the local shops, because if you don't support the local shops, they disappear and the hobby dies out. I actually stress that out with my friends, my colleagues, and also especially the community a lot. Is like, support your local shops. As much as you I know there's deals all over the place, but keep them alive, keep our hobbies alive.
Yeah. And another thing too, like you can also like do it in a smaller scale as well. Like for example, if you know a friend that has kids, for example, and they can't find someone to babysit the kids, for example, maybe bring a kid or two to their house and build with their kids or something. Help them out that way.
That's what it's about, right? I mean, or Derek said it, and I know Sean is the same way. We're all about promoting the hobby. This is our passion. It really is a passion. Because I really like the way that you put it, because it is about helping the community. It's about promoting the hobby. It's not easy. Like for example, us putting on a weekly show, and also starting to do. We're actually expanding our brand and doing some other stuff with our channel. It's not a one day thing, We don't just hang out for one day and like, hey, dude, let's do this, and then we're done for the next 6 days and we get to coast. Like, we have to meet with our guests. We have to prepare everything. We have to do that. We have to, but it's not a job. It's a passion. To us, it's a passion. And to be able to help our community, to promote our stores, and to promote anybody that sells things for the hobby is awesome. And it's really awesome to see somebody as noble as you do this. And I'm sure, is his name Esther, or is that not his name?
His name is Bob. Esther is like his mother's.
Mother.
So like,
okay.
The shop has been around for
a
long time now. And the thing is, like, I live in Pittsburgh, and like all the hobby shops have like just closed down one after another. This one is like the last one in Pittsburgh that's like still standing. So I'm like trying my best to like, okay, I got to do whatever I can to help him, keep his door open and stuff like that.
That's so awesome.
Being from Lethbridge, I know what that's like, having just one hobby shop left other than like comic shops. But the problem is, I mean, the problem I run into in Lethbridge is that the market is so small that it's really tough to get new people in the door. And so like every time he moves, his store gets smaller and smaller and smaller, and eventually he's just gonna have to close, and it's gonna suck.
Yeah, but at the same time too, like it's all also about like, how much can you help, but also how much are they willing to let you help. For example, if you go in and talk to them and they're like, oh man, I can't compete with the online store, I don't know what to do. It's like if you have a web building experience or whatever, maybe help him build a website, or help him create like a Facebook page or something like that.
Yeah.
Something, and it's at least it's something, and
it's a two-way street. It's learning it's learning how to adapt. That's what it is, right? Because in any place that you are, Lethbridge, whether it's Chicago, wherever it's whatever it is, it's all about adapting. Both of us, For example, right now when the pandemic started, you couldn't really go out and hang out with your friends like we used to and build all the time. All of a sudden, for example, Shoebox, where we hang out, right? Patrick was like, you know what? How am I going to survive during the pandemic? So he started selling his things online more, and you could just go and pick it up at the store. It's all about adapting, and I think that's very strong. It's a very strong mindset to have, and I'm sure Bob is very grateful, and it's really cool. It's really cool. I don't know, Derek, you wanted to say something?
No, I remember in those hard times is like, I stress people to try to help out how you can, like, still support. And actually at one point I remember the local stores, some of the stores were doing local deliveries. Like you call them on the phone, you transfer them. Okay, sure, I'll drop it at your doorstep. I said, yep. I felt bad when I actually got the store owner to drop off my box of magic cards and then my model kit. I said, what the heck?
Yeah. Well, that's a way that stores can adapt too, and it's a great way to do it for sure.
Yeah.
Well, kind of going off of what Jess was saying, like when the comic shop in Lethbridge first started doing Gunpla, he kind of always had a little bit, but it was like a shelf yay big by yay big. And fast forward 5 years later, Derek and Jess can both attest, Gunpla has its own section in the store now.
Yes.
And like it's growing like crazy. Like they're selling it like mad. And at one point, I thought I was the only customer buying it, and then they're just like, "Sean, we need to know what we should buy and shouldn't buy." I'm like,
Yeah.
I mean, you're doing okay. You just pick what looks cool and you bring it in. But
I mean,
that's how they started.
Yeah, to your point too, like maybe that's also another thing you can help out the store as well. Like since you know like what all the kits are and all that stuff, like I know this is gonna be popular and all that stuff, so maybe you should order this and this. I know it's gonna be new, so someone's gonna come in and buy it right away. And,
yes.
like help them pick out stuff too is also nice.
Yeah, definitely. It's really awesome. But anyway, we have another learning process over here. I love this. This is so much information coming at us. You know, it's really it's really cool. I don't mean it in a bad way. I could sit here and listen to you give me tips and advice all day long. Like, so over here we have a learning process. So
like for me in this one, like being a musician and stuff like that, you kind of have to like learn something very quickly. So for me, like I have to figure out a way to learn a new task quickly. You know, like for example, you know, if you wanted to learn how to hand brush or something like that, from what the studies say, it says they say that it takes exactly 20 hours if you really concentrate, like really focus, like the focus, you know, like turn off the phone, turn off the TV. It takes exactly 20 hours to learn a new task and actually perfect it. Exactly 20 hours. Now the idea behind it is that there's this thing in your nerve, like your brain. There's a when you learn something new, there's the information is coded like around your nervous system. It's called myelin, but a lot of people would refer to it as muscle memory. You know, so like basically you like when practicing something, you keep repeating it until like it sticks. And the stick, you know, when you figure it out like how to do that, that's when that myelin had like fully formed around you, around the nervous system. So like, you know, you're then like something that was impossible before became like possible, and then you can perfect it and all that stuff. Same thing with anything. Like if you're learning how to airbrush, you're learning how to scribe, you're learning how to, you know, kit bash, you're learning how to do all that stuff. It's like it's all about like coming up with a process and trying to learn it, and being able to, you know, concentrate your learning effort into like trying to get something correct, you know. And if you go to the next slide,
there.
Yeah, the next slide I want to shout out, you know, Joel. I don't know if you know Joel, True Gunpla, you know, and he has a podcast called The Cutting Mat, and I love listening to his stuff because like it's him and his other friends talking about, you know, how to do something, like for example how to appreciate, how to do all that stuff. And one of the subjects that come up a lot is learning how to do something. And the first time doing something is very scary to a lot of people, which I'm sure everyone knows what that feels like. It's like, well, I really want to do this, but I'm afraid I'm going to fuck it up. So
very true.
What Joel and his group is trying to get across is that you don't have to be it's the first one. Go ahead, just mess it up, and it's going to be okay. But the thing I want to add to that, tying back to my previous point, is that if you're going to try and learn something, trying to learn it correctly the first time, but also being able to forgive yourself if you mess it up. So like if it, like I have a kid, like I don't know if you can see the shelf. There's one of them that's like the one that I
Oh.
this time I built something, and it was like I messed it up so bad, but I kept it on the shelf because it's like a reminder of like, you know, this is where I started, you know, you know, you know, how far I can take certain things and being able to keep repeating something, keep building, keep doing, and then trying to be better at it, you know. And I don't know if you have anything to add to that, you guys.
It's
I mean, I kind of ran into that when I first started gunk washing. I mean, I was looking at my War Greymon kit, and I'm just like, I got to do something with this. And I just decided, you know what? I'm gonna take a stab at gunk washing and see what happens. And I mean, it's now my secret weapon.
Yeah.
It's a style, and it worked. It works, man.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. I mean, you did it on your goof also.
Not
Not
my
your goof,
Efreet,
sorry.
not my goof.
Your Efreet,
Yeah.
your Efreet, and it's great. So it's not about you just went and did it, right? You didn't even know what you were doing. I remember when you were messaging.
I literally just said, "Fuck it, I'm gonna try gunk washing and see what happens."
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's that attitude of like, you know, just go for it. You know, there's no fear in messing it up because it's like plastic. You know? But yeah, you were gonna say.
I was gonna say just real quick. I think, and I've talked about it before on the show, is I've only ever that's my Sasami, and the only reason I ever got that thing done was because of my wife. You know, there were times where I didn't feel like I was doing something correct, and my wife literally said to me, she's like, if you fuck up the Sasami, the RG Sasami, we'll just buy another one. Like you can just start over. But she was really the one to really push me. I mean, I love her so much because of it. She really pushed me. She's like, just do it. Just shut up and do it, you know? Because at one point, and I've said it and I'll say it again, she got tired of me showing her other people's works. She really got tired of it. She's like, I don't care for other people's works. I want to see what my husband can do. So just go ahead and do it. And so that's just the way it is. I mean, Derek, you were going to say something.
I basically learned so many different things, but in the end of the day, like, I think it's my first episode when I started of season 2. It's like something struck straight home to me is that I learned to build out my enjoyment more than anyone else's, and after that, it became a lot better because then all the processes come together a lot nicer and better than anything. And actually, to be honest, I feel like I'm a much better builder this way. And I love the process. Like, yeah, you are your worst enemy. And like, I critique every single time when I look at okay, I want to do this, but I'm looking at someone else's the entire time. And I say, yeah, it doesn't look like his because it's mine. It should be mine. My way. So that's my way I look at it. I say it's a good thing. It's just you have to try tell yourself over and over, you know. The worst thing it is that you go get another one, do it again. So
I'm gonna take that as a segue because like in the previous side, what I said was it takes exactly 7 times to do something.
Hopefully not 7 kids.
It's about the process basically. Like for example, if you want to do a certain task, you have to figure out like how can you do it that works for you with the tools that you have.
Yes.
You know, and for me like that, there's no right way to do anything. The right way is the way that you can do it well. Is the right way. You know, so like for example, for me to figure out what is the right way for me is to repeat that thing 7 times, exactly 7 times.
Yeah.
So if you repeat it and you get like the same result 7 times, then that is the way to do it, and that is what you say is the process, you know, and then you remember that. It's like, okay, now I remember how to do it this way, so I'm gonna keep doing it and stuff.
And even then, sorry, just real quick on what you said, Derek. I think as a musician yourself, Terry, that's another thing that I think that's why I said in the beginning. I think I can see your vision because you are a musician, and that's where you or an artist to some point before you are a Gunpla builder. When I play the guitar and I've been playing it since I was 11, and my wife, I've been with my wife since I was like 18. She's seen me play the guitar, and so many times I would stop playing the guitar, because I always want to play like John Mayer. John Mayer is I love him. Right, John Mayer, if you're watching this, I love you. Okay, the point is, like, if I always compared myself, and that's what Derek said, right? You're comparing yourself to somebody else, and my wife was like, "Well, why are you always comparing yourself? Stop comparing yourself. You're never gonna play like John Mayer, right? Maybe you'll play better than him. Maybe you'll play worse than him. You got to stop doing it, and you just got to do your own thing. And that's it's a really great message for everybody out there watching.
Yeah.
We do have a question for you though. From Edmund, he says, learning it correctly the first time means you must have done it through muscle memory several times, right? That's what he said.
So in the next slide, let's go to the next one. Put that as an example. So the drawing on the left is when I started, like, really wanted to learn how to draw Gundam and stuff like that. And I was drawing it on my phone.
Ooh.
And the cool thing was, like, drawing on the phone was like, okay, well, I can zoom in really close, and I can do compress undo and then erase and like zoom in really close and get like all these details nice and cool. But then when you zoom out, it's like, it looks like that, and it's like, oh. So what I'm trying to convey to that is, like, the drawing on the right is basically me going in with, properly learning how to do it the first time, like setting up the perspective on paper, and like trying to figure out how to make the line work, like work with the scale. Now, granted, you can actually do this on the iPad as well. I'm certainly not saying that you have to learn it on paper. You can certainly, like, try to learn it on like digital. But the downside about learning on the iPad or doing digital drawing is that there's so many trappings that you can fall into. Like, for example, like what I was saying, I can zoom in really close. I can, like, get in really close and get, like, this line all nice and perfect. But then you're, like, only looking at that tiny little piece of your work and not, like, the whole thing. So the learning it on paper, for example, will force you to you can't zoom in. You can't press undo on paper. So you're like sitting there constantly, like, critiquing your work. It's like, oh, this still doesn't look right. Okay, let's fix this and all that stuff. But so that is what I meant by learning it correctly. And, like, for example, let's bring it back to, like, building Gunpla, like, let's see, you can do, I guess scribing would be a good example, where, like, a lot of times people would like go and scribe, like, really hard right away and stuff like that, and get the lines kind of rough and all that stuff. But being able to, and unfortunately there's, like, so many conflicting resources online and stuff like that, but if you're able to find an article or someone to give you a good advice on how to start, everyone always say start light and stuff like that. So learning it by scribing lightly and, using the correct guide tape, for example, or, like, for example, when you scribe a line, you don't want to scribe, like, from point A to point B like you draw. You want to scribe from point A to point B, and you scribe in to the middle. So that way you're not, like, blowing out, the line and have to fix stuff later. The only reason why my scribe stuff looks clean is because I focus on the point. Start point and the end point, and you scribe into the middle.
Tools of the trade.
I'm sure there's a lot of, like, Gunpla builders out there that might have a different methodology and stuff like that, but I'm sure most of them will agree that having the points, like the corners and all that stuff, be nice and clean is like is what you want to shoot for. So like, being able to, like, figure out how to make those points clean instead of, like, trying to figure out how to make, like, these crazy lines and stuff like that. So that's another way of looking at how to do it correctly the first time, and then you repeat that process over and over, until you get it perfect.
Until you get that.
Very nice.
I bet you it feels good after you get to the point. Yeah, I nailed it.
Yeah, totally. And there are like, I think there's a website, there's a blog actually that I refer to a lot, and I don't have it at the moment, where the guy would, like, talk about, like, the direction, not really like how to design, but like rather the direction and how you scribe. Because like then if you have like a crazy line, like a zigzag line, for example, how do you connect those things together? Because obviously you don't want to do all that stuff, because that's when you get like a rough scribe and stuff like that. So
it gets ugly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Well,
that's a good question.
Very nice. Yeah. Well, with all that said and done, guys, just do your own style and learn. Practice. Practice makes almost perfect.
Almost.
Like me saying the word practice, because I just said it wrong. But anyway, we're gonna go on to slide 56, where we have our super cute. Okay, can we just? I don't know if I can get you to do this or not, but zooming in on that little kitty. It's so cute. It's so cute.
I might get in trouble. I don't know if I'm gonna go crash the entire thing if I try to do that.
No, it's okay. It's okay.
So this is another contest that Zach had, Saku Aurelius. This is the Notchin contest, and it's my entry. So like in the previous contest, what I did was I wanted this contest to be an opportunity for me to learn how to scratch build. So the big Notchin in the back, that's completely scratch built.
Oh my god.
Just wait, because I already seen the slides. Holy bro.
Yeah, it's crazy.
No, so the idea that I had was like, I really want like because I envisioned this to be like a society where like everything, like even pets, like they have their own Notchin,
the little kitty.
So in order for that idea to work, I have to scratch build something. So I made like a giant size Notchin. And if you go to the next slide, 57.
Yeah.
Like I like kind of put this together.
I love that picture.
It's just like, before it was like this pile of styrene, and then after is this,
That is incredible. Jeez.
And it's one of those things where like, I have a limited deadline. I have like 2 months to do this. And I'm like, okay, am I committed enough to actually use this 2 months to actually scratch build something? And I was like, if I don't finish it, it's totally fine. Like there's no pressure. You just try your best and forget the rest. That's how they say it. And like, but basically it's for me, this is another thing about competition, kind of drawing back to your contest, is that a lot of times people going into the competition like wanting to win, and that's totally fine. That's how contest works. Like you definitely want to win something, but at the same time too, it's like, well, how do you compete when it comes to like creative arts? Like this is subjective. Certain people can see it and say, oh, this is the greatest thing ever. Another person can see it and it's like, oh, that's crap. Whatever.
That's so true.
So
Very true.
How do you compete? How do you compete in that way? And my what I've learned with this project is that I'm competing against myself, which is like, here's myself saying, I can never do this. I'm not gonna be able to scratch build this thing. I can't do it in time. But I'm gonna compete against myself, and like the reward is gonna be this finished product. This one, this Notchin, this scratch built Notchin is the only one that exists in the world. This is how I think about it. So for me, like to win whatever prize of the contest, that didn't matter. Like for me, like once I finish it, it's like, that's it. I throw my hands up. I've already won the contest because I built this thing. And that's kind of how you have to approach it. And of course, like you want to do well, and you want to be able to compete with others and stuff like that. And you want to aim for that big prize, But at the same time too, it's like, you also want to just keep it realistic, and you never know who the judge is going to be. You never know how they're going to react to your work. So the best way to do is to compete with yourself and like be able to, make the best product that you're able to be proud of.
Absolutely. Oh man. Oh,
one of our
I think you're
one of
going
our viewers is asking, is the girl inside scratch built too?
It is not. It's actually It's actually from the head is from the Ceradol, mobile Ceradol, whatever, and then the helmet was actually a basically kit bash, whatever that's inside that kit. So like there was like a skirt piece that I cut out. To a helmet and stuff like that. But that the body is actually from there was a line of like the Fates Grand Order, video game that Bandai made. It was like made into a model kit. So the body came from that because it has to be a smaller body and stuff. The head is from there.
Jeez.
In the next slide, 58, that's like basically trying to figure out how to work with styrene, like making joints, like making the arm joints and all this stuff. So that notchin is completely articulated. You can actually move all the stuff up and down.
Yeah.
Yeah, because at the time I didn't know what the pose is gonna be. So I'm like, okay, I want to leave some options and stuff for me to actually be able to pose it at the end and stuff like that. So trying to figure out how to work with styrene and stuff is like another learning process of like, okay, how can I make something work? And the picture on the right is to show like how rough it is when I put it together, because it kind of goes back into like, you know what, I'm just gonna throw it together and see how it works, and then you can always like shape it later. And if you go to the next slide, 59, I use a lot of CA glue. Because a lot of so this type Bob Smith, you can actually add the Insta set, which basically will cure the super glue like very quickly. So a lot of people they use like, I also use like putty and all that stuff too, but like for certain things like putting the styrene together, I always use like super glue, because then you can actually shape it and clean it up very nicely. A lot of people use like sprue glue and sprue goo, like where you cut up the pieces of plastic and then you mix it with the glue and stuff like that. The problem with that is it takes like forever to dry. Like for this, like I'm working on a deadline, so I gotta get everything done very quickly. So CA glue is very nice, and what I highlighted in the picture on the right is like the corner. So like when I put the styrene together, like I didn't really measure it. So like there are some gaps and corners and stuff like that are not coming out sharp. So that thing there is basically like the super glue hardened, and then I shaped it to a sharp point. Like when it hards like as strong as plastic, essentially.
Really?
So
Dang.
Yeah, using that super glue is like is like a dream come true when you're scratch building and stuff like that. So.
Okay.
Yeah, if you see it in stores, definitely get it.
Okay. I might actually have to do that because I got some.
Totally.
It says brand. It says brand. That's why he's saying that.
Oh, there you go.
It's sponsored.
Sponsored by Terry.
The next slide, kind of going back to like the drawing to build and stuff like that. A lot of these, all the pieces that I do, I actually draw it out first, so that way like I can quickly cut out the styrene pieces to put it all together. So like, a lot of times it's easier to be able to draw and figure out on paper, and then you can start putting it together very quickly.
This is your inner architecture like showing here.
Exactly. Yeah, I was like trying to figure out like the finger and how it's gonna turn and all that stuff. So
okay. Yeah, I was like looking at it and say you're measuring by the degrees here. I said, holy shoot. Dang.
But yeah, the next one is like, when the pieces all put together, you can see like where I use the putty and all that stuff to kind of shape the main body and all that.
Okay, I'm just looking at the cat. I'm just gonna be honest.
No, I'm looking at the Big Mac. I'm looking at the Mac.
I wish I had done a blow up picture of the cat.
It's so cute, man. Look at the little legs.
and here's the thing, like so for me, like when I entered Zach's contest, it's at the very beginning, I was like making it a thing for me to put in a cat in my entry. So if he has like another contest in the future, like if I decide to enter it, there'll definitely be a cat in there. So.
Good. There's gonna be a running joke in there. Yes.
Yeah.
We'll be looking for that.
Become one of my wife's favorite builders is with the cats. She loves cats, so yeah. Please do.
Exactly. So the next slide, number 62.
Oh.
After that whole scratch building experience, like when you were able to finish something and learn something new, you kind of want to do more. It's like it's exciting. Like now the entire world is like open up. Like I've scratch built this thing now. Like what else can I do? So the thing that I'm working on, and it's been taking me forever, is like doing a 1/16th scale wound ward bust.
Sorry.
So that's what I'm scratch building right now, is like the 1/16th scale wound ward.
Oh.
God damn.
Hot damn.
Bandai wants to know your location.
Hot damn. Oh man.
But again, like trying to figure out the dimensions and stuff on the drawing first, it really helps with like, as you can see, like it kind of helps me figure out the shape of like how I want to cut the pieces and all that stuff, and then the next one is just like putting it all together. And it's okay to put it like roughly together, and then you can always just clean it up by sanding later and stuff.
I'm scared of you now. It's just like
just quick.
Like you take some
1/16th or 1/60th scale.
1/16, so 1/6.
One. Oh.
Yeah. How else would it be a bust?
No. So the I think the final size is going to be probably about that tall by that wide, if I figured it out correctly. But the thing though is that this is actually the same size as the Exceed Gundam head. I don't know if you've ever seen those gachapon.
Yeah.
Gundam together. This actually turns out to be the same size because the wound ward is actually a really tiny mobile suit.
Oh, okay.
It's when I say 1/16, it's like, oh, it's impressive, but the size is actually about the size of the Gundam head. So it's not going to be extremely big.
It's not a one. It's not a one. What is it? 1/16th Sasabi. Okay, it's not.
Oh, good lord! Don't scare me on that one.
Either way, it's impressive, dude. I mean, the reason I said I'm scared is because it seems like every time you step into a new realm of the hobby, you're just like, all right, well now I'm here, and now all of this is mine. Bring it all in. It's awesome.
Well,
it's really cool.
Yeah, and there's like a project sitting up on my shelf right now where I decided I wanted to do a kit bash and stuff like that, and that one is taking forever. But the thing about that project was that like this is another idea that I want to impart, to something for everyone to think about, is that like it's cool to be able to know how to do something, but it's even better to be able to develop an opinion about something. Like an opinion meaning like, does this look good? For example. So like when you're building something, you're kit bashing, you're putting all this stuff together, like being able to train yourself how to say, oh, you know what, that actually looks good, or you know what, that looks bad. That's the hardest part to do. And the only way to do it, well, actually there are two ways to do it. One way is to constantly building and getting critiques, getting people like show it to, like, for example, I show my work a lot to my girlfriend. She likes to build, but she's not as into Gunpla as I am. So like a lot of it, she's looking at it from an outside perspective, and for her, it's like, does it make sense to her as someone who's not familiar with Gundam? And that's who I go to get opinion. You can use your mom, you can use your aunt or whoever,
or you're a Derek or something like that. Yeah.
Anything. It's it's important to like get opinion from people who are really into the hobby, but also get an opinion from someone who had never seen Gundam before. It's like looking at it, it's like, yeah, you know. And the second thing that you can help that might help you to develop an opinion about something is to look at other people's work. But not while you're looking at it, say, well, oh, I like this thing, but why do you like it? It's not just like, or why do I hate it? You know, for example, same thing. You know, like have a list of like, oh, you know, like, oh, it's really cool, like this, or but I don't like that. So you start making a critical thought about the work and things like that. Will help you kind of hone in and all that stuff. If there's anything you guys want to add to that story.
I was just thinking, Jess and I kind of ran into that when we were judging the Great Canadian Build Off recently, where we came across a few builds where we're like, I like the concept, but that execution is just problematic. And then I kind of got thinking of ways it could be altered to execute it better. And so, yeah, I kind of get what you're saying, where you can use other people's work, both positive and negative, to build your own skills.
Exactly.
And on top of that, I think one of the best things to do is, and I've said it before with Aomecha, and I'll say it again, I think I'm just going to keep saying it, is, you know, obviously people watching and people who already know you, you know, they'll look at you and they'll see you as, wow, this guy is an amazing artist. He's amazing at scratch building. He's amazing at this and this and this and this. Do you consider yourself a master of anything?
I actually wouldn't even call myself an artist just yet. You know what I mean? So like with all the drawing and all that stuff, I'm essentially a crafts person. So I distinguish in two categories: a crafts person and an artist. Crafts person is someone who actually is able to, like, basket weaving. You know, it takes a really good crafts person to like basket weave something, but then it takes an artist to actually make that basket into like something crazy, for example. You know, so like for me, I'm still in the crafts person side, where I'm like still trying to perfect how to draw something. I'm still trying to perfect the coloring, still trying to perfect, you know, how to scratch build something or how to scribe.
Exactly. And that's why I wanted to ask, right? Because that's the mentality that I think is the healthy mentality to have when you're in this hobby. And you know, like I said it last week, the moment you realize you're not the best at everything is the moment you start having fun with the hobby. And that's what you are the embodiment of that. So
nice.
Yeah,
that is really awesome.
And you're right. It's all about having fun and taking that pressure off of yourself to be ever.
Exactly. Wow. All right. Well, we're gonna go on to your last thought here.
Last thought.
It's bounce the light.
Yeah. So I see a lot of, like, you know, people, you know, like posting when they post online and stuff like that of their kids. So I kind of did a little tutorial together of like trying to figure out how can I make, you know, make your kit look good without using a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
So like, for example, like I have now to preface this, like, this is like essentially like a way for me to think about, like, well, if I don't have a photo studio, if I don't have any lights, if I don't have a fancy camera, all I have is just a phone and you know, the dining room table. You know, how can I actually make something look good? And this is a little series of things that I explored and trying to figure out. Oh yeah, maybe you can actually make something look good without anything. So like the before and after, you can see like a lot of times they would, like, you know, pose the kid like just straight up and down and stuff like that, you know. But if you start posing the kid, well, like, oh, maybe spread it out a little bit and stuff like that. Maybe it's and then on the picture on the right, you know, is my setup. Essentially, it's like the dining room table behind me. You can see that light fixture. That's the only light that I have. So
I like how the
so
mats are still there.
I know, yeah, exactly. So go to the next slide, 65.
Okay. Here we go.
So like when you take a picture like without the flash, it's like, oh, it's too dark. But when you start taking a picture with a flash, which I'm sure you see a lot of people, trying to
Yep.
give it a lot of light and stuff like that, and it's just like kind of all washed out and stuff like that. So how do you fix that problem? Go to the next slide.
Mm-hmm. Ooh, I like that.
Basically bounce the light. So what I have there is like a mirror. Like you can use a mirror, for example. Or the other one is like basically it's like a FedEx envelope, like, or a white sheet of paper essentially. And what it does is it kind of brings the light and kind of shoots it back up without creating like a harsh shadow and stuff like that. So then you can actually start to see the kit without like being all washed out or being too dark. So you can adjust the light however you want to make to get your point across and to make the kit look good.
Man.
And the next one is like adjusting the pose a little bit, like spreading out the leg, spreading out the arm a little bit, maybe tilt the head down and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And taking a picture from a different angle, for example, then makes it look bigger and all that.
Mm-hmm.
But the idea too is that the next slide, the idea is every time I build something, I always take a photo, like constantly, like trying to find a good angle. And then I when I snap something, I always like trying to see like what will my final photo will look like. And this is going to help, like, hopefully with whoever's entering your contest, is that you should start thinking about like your final photo that you're going to submit to the contest right away.
Yeah.
And like figure out, oh, like this pose is going to be cool, I'm going to like use, this is going to be my money shot, for example. And then you basically take a photo of that, and then you can start to get an idea of like, oh, well, what do I need to work on if I want to make this photo look good, and then I can, what I do sometimes, like I mark out like, oh, I forgot to remove the nub and the feet, for example, or like I can see that imperfection or whatever, so you do this, you do that, and you start marking things out. And then you can also like start mapping out like what kind of pose you want to use for your final photo. Like for example, if you're, I don't know what the rules are for your contest. Like if you only have 5 photos you want to submit, what are the 5 photos that will tell the best story of your build?
Well,
exactly. Yeah.
Exactly. Between like most of the contests, front, back, side, left, right side, and then you usually have a choice of 2 or 3 of your best action photos before that. And that is such an excellent way to actually describe it, because to be honest, there's a lot of times I helped ran a couple small events, and then we're doing one right now and ran one more big one in cross Canada. We just wrapped up. It's like there's a lot of entries, and a lot of people unfortunately didn't really know. But at the same time, it's experience. Yeah, it's experience, and this is great actually, because I never thought like actually using such alternative pieces around the home. To actually reflect that actually.
And to if you want to take it a step further, you can get a black T-shirt behind it, and then do this thing, and then boom, you get like a professional photography studio without nothing.
Hey, Jess. Jess actually taught me talked to Lena, who taught me in the end how to use the T-shirt method. And it's funny because I swear I'm still missing a few shirts right now in my closet. Still today, I have no idea where they went.
I mean, my big secret is going outdoors, because the best light is natural light.
Yes.
So I drive an hour and a half out to the Badlands to get good pictures of my model kits.
That's amazing. Yeah. But that
can we just? Mm-hmm. Sorry, I was gonna say, can we just go back 65 real quick?
Okay, back to which one? The 5. There we go.
65.
Oh, wrong computer, wrong screen. I got too many screens open. My bad. 5 it is.
One of the things, 65. The reason I wanted to go back to this one specifically is because I cannot tell you how many times I've seen this exact post. on Instagram.
The tired action figure pose.
It's like, I'm done. I'm done building this fucking thing. Here it is, guys. I hope you like it.
But if you go to 68,
Okay.
go to 68,
Yeah.
like the little before and after.
Yes.
You know, like
Yeah.
that's your kit is capable of conveying that badass look. You know, all you need to do is just like
It is.
close it, you know.
Spend a little time, and you know, with you, another guest stating the same thing, and obviously the person I'll name always is Saintism.
Mhm.
I don't know if you know of Saintism. He is one of my favorites, up there with it's a Gunpla. But Saintism to me is a photography god, and he knows that I think so. And you know, doing all of this, it just reminds me of his he has a tutorial on his website where he teaches you how to take pictures, and it's one of the most complete. Seeing this, I love this. This is awesome, man. Like you are, like I said it before, you're a beacon of knowledge when it comes to all of this stuff. I didn't honestly, when we invited you on the show, we didn't know what to expect, and then not in a bad way. And then you this thorough outline, structured show for everybody. Everybody, you guys need to know. This is the first time I or Derek or Alina, we don't go and make the slides. Terry was kind enough to do it himself. He had this idea, this vision. Again, he has it here, and he just puts it on whatever medium it is that he's using. And this is what you get. And honestly, man, I want to thank you, because it's really eye-opening with all that you can learn, especially from somebody as experienced as you. So
it's all about like presenting. So I want to, like, everyone has big ideas and things like that, and it's all about like how can you communicate your big idea to everyone. So
yeah, very nice. So
and go to the last slide.
Yeah.
The last parting thought is my philosophy is like 100% is 133%. Because you're when you do something and you're like, okay, you know what, I'm done. No, take it 33% more, and you know what, it's going to be amazing. So.
Yes. Oh man, I love my anime reference. It's like plus ultra for those who watch.
My girlfriend actually did this graphic.
Oh really? Nice.
Yeah. I actually have it on my computer monitor, because when I do the sticker, I need to figure out like what the actual print size is going to be.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm running my laptop into an external monitor, and there's some scaling thing, and what I figured out was that if I blow it up 133%, it's going to be exactly full size. It's going to be 100%. And then I basically tape that onto my monitor just to remind her. But then it's also like a philosophical thing too, where like, you know, if you think you're done, you know, just take it 33% more, and you know what, it's gonna be an amazing work.
Man. That was so cool. I love the goofs, and in so many ways too. As much as this guy I know.
Yeah, no, I love my goofs.
Yeah, they're amazing. So with that said, guys, remember we're going to be coming out in the near future with a how to draw Gundam, right?
Yeah.
He also has, of course, his artwork that he is doing as a charity donation for a fellow builder of ours who is, you know, has some medical trouble. So, you know, it's all going towards him. There are some being printed right now. You guys will be able to find more information. Where will they be able to find more information on where to buy those?
On Instagram, you can direct mail me on Instagram, and then I can get that sorted out for you.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Cool.
If you're interested in buying it now and stuff like that, you can certainly do that. I'm gonna submit an order for a print on Monday, and it usually takes about a week or so. So, like, if people want to pre-order or something like that, they can certainly send me a message. So it's Gundamyatham, so the word Gundam, and then it's YATHAM.
Yeah.
And then you can find me on Instagram, and you know, I'll try to be better at looking at my messages.
So yeah, guys, so go over there and check that out. He has more things coming out. And honestly, go over there and give him a follow if you haven't already. I mean, he already has a bunch of followers. But go follow him if you haven't already. He has beautiful artwork coming out all the time. I don't know if Sean or Derek have any final thoughts on on tonight's show.
Sean, you want to go
I
first?
think I'm good.
No? Oh, okay.
I think I'm good. I don't really have any closing thoughts.
I just want to say thank you, man. This is very, very fun, and actually, it's a whole different feel this time. And for me, I'm loving this because the fact that we take away a little bit more today, and we learn quite a bit. And actually, I love the fact that we actually went through in a whole different perspective and view, and I actually have a story for it. And to be honest, I'm very happy at how you're contributing to the community, and that's something I'm always striving to try to do for myself too. And I love it. It's very motivational. I love a lot of that's to it. And man, I can't wait to see the next cat build you have in store. Like you have these contest builds and throwing a cat in. I'm like, okay, this is neat. Can't wait to see the next one too.
Well, yeah. Zach has like a Metro We Go whatever kit contest thing going on, but like I just didn't have time to do it or wasn't able to get into it. But
yeah,
like if the next one is like a serious one, like you have to use a Sasabi, for example, there's gonna be a cat in there. So.
Definitely stick around for that, guys. Remember that we have our international contest going on, so visit our website gunplatalkshow.com to check it out. Click on the event page, and the event photo, and you'll be taken to the event page. Follow us on our social media, just like you can follow Terry's social media. Just real quick, we are coming out with so I think after the show, maybe a few minutes after, we will be uploading our first review video, which is actually on the Hazen, which you can actually build into the Winworth.
Yeah.
So yeah, we are coming out with our first review video on the Hazen that is the reissued Hazen that's coming out on 2021 February. So be sure to watch that when you can. So yeah, from all of us over here in GTS, thank you so much for watching, and we will see you guys next week.
Have a good night, guys. Bye.